Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hey everyone. In here, I will present material about the connection part and data communication, which is taken by the several journal. And before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Sukman Raden, and my identity number is 22 from class 3B, Communication and Information Technologies course. In this presentation, I will be explain the three material that are practiced as communication, data communication, and MIC. The first part used for the communication is RG45. RG45 is a type of connector commonly used for Ethernet networking. It looks similar to a telephone jack, but is slightly wider. Since Ethernet cables have an RG45 connector on each end, Ethernet cables are sometimes also called RG45 cable. The RG stands for register jack, and the 45 simply refers to the number of the interface standard. Each RG45 connector has 8 pins, which means an RG45 cable contains express wires. If you look closely at the end of an Ethernet cable, you can actually see the X wires, which are each a different color. Four of them are solid color, while the other four are striped. RG45 cable can be wired in two different ways. One version is called T568A and the other is T568B. The wiring standards are listed below. The T568B wiring scheme is by far the most common, and which has a T568A connector on one end, and this type of cable is typically used for direct computer to computer connection when there is no router or switch available. And the next is a DB9. The term DB9 refers to a common connector type, one of the D subminiature or D subtype of connector. DB9 has the smallest footprint of the D subminiature connector and hosts 9 pins for the male connector or 9 holes for the female connector. Used DB9 connector were once very common on PCS and server. Uh, DB9 connector were commonly used for serial peripheral devices like keyboard, mouse, joystick, and also they are used on DB9 cable assemblies for data connectivity. And the next is a HDMI or High Definition Multimedia Interface. It's a specification that combines video and audio into a single digital interface for use with digital versatile discs or DVD players, DTV, set-top boxes, and other audiovisual devices. The basis for HDMI is High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection or HDCP, and the core technology of digital visual interface. And the next, DB25. DB25 is a part of the DSAP connector plug and socket family for computer and communication device. DB25 is a 25-pin electrical connector for serial and product computer ports. It is arranged in rows of two with one 13-pin row above another 12-pin row. The male DB25 is the second oldest serial computing port, referred to as COM2, and the standard 25-pin D-shell connector for AEA 232 serial communication. Various RS232 communication devices use the male version. The female DB25 is primarily used for the computer printer spot. All this computer contains only one DB25 female parallel port. And the next is a USB. A USB is common computer port which support universal serial bus and allows communication between a computer and peripheral or other devices. A USB is port bus where the USB host initiates all data exchange. Data travels to or from an endpoint on the USB device. Client on the USB host store data in buffer but have no endpoint. USB host and peripheral USB devices have different layers, as shown in the image below. The connection between layers is a logical host device, the interface between each horizontal layers. Between a logical connection, data transferred using pipes. And in the next session, I will explain the data communication. And if you see that there are 7 oscillator, which is each other have a function. The first layer of physical, the function is access to media, and second layer, data link, it's for local network host delivery, and the third layer, network for routing to destination, and the fourth layer, transport, delivery, and sequencing, and the fifth layer, session, establish connection, and the sixth layer, presentation for encryption and formatting, and the last layer, application for the data generation. In the data link, the consists of two parts uses a logical link control or LLC and media access control or MIC. What's the function? The function is send blocks of data between physical devices. Yeah, regulate access to the physical media. LLC is for multiplex protocol over the MIC layer, while the transmitting and likes ways to demultiplex the protocol while receiving. And for the conclusion, the LLC is for as intermediary layer in the below it, and MIC as a intermediary layer in above it. And the next is data communication. This is a diagram of simplified communication model. We begin from the source system. This is device can read to the data to be transmitted. Examples are telephone and personal computer. The transmitter, usually the data generated by a source system, are not transmitted directly in the form in which they were generated. Rather, a transmitter transforms and encodes the information in such a way as to produce electromagnetic signal that can be transmitted across some sort of transmission system. For example, a modem takes a digital bit stream from an attached device such as personal computer and transform that bit stream into an analog signal that can be handled by the telephone network. And then the transmission system. This can be a single transmission line or a complex network connecting source and destination. And then the receiver. The receiver accepts the signal from the transmission system and convert it into a form that can be handled by the destination device. For example, a modem will accept an analog signal coming from a network or transmission line and convert into digital bit stream. And the destination system takes the incoming data from the receiver. Okay, this section I will be explain more about detection error. As we know, there are three methods to check detection error. There are echo method, priming check, and detection method. But I will focus on the detection method. I will be given a short explain about the echo method. Echo method is we can call just an interaction. Example, the data have sent in the computer and user can directly checking the error in monitor. And second is a farming check. Farming check is a in this method the data sent will be checked based on the frame, meaning that the data or character sent will be checked between the two bits that make up the frame. And the last is a detection method. In the detection method, we must know about the parity bit. What is a parity bit? Parity bit is one concept to detection error. but it's just for the single error. Example, I have a receiver and I have a transmitter. Yeah, I will send the data, but in the bit from. Example, I have a bit, 5 bit. The data have sent must same which the data has accepted by receiver. If not the same, we can make sure that error is happen. And in the parity bit, there are two can be divided to part, which is even parity and the odd parity. Yes. The example of the even parity, I have a given data 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Because the total of number 1 is odd, we must make the total must even, not odd. So the parity is 1. It's become 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1. Now, the number 1 become even, not odd again. And the example for the odd parity, same with even parity, but the total is must odd, not even. The example is I have a data 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. The parity is must 1 because the total of 1 is even. We must change the total of 1 become odd. So the data will be 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. Like that. The next section is MIC or Media Access Control. The Media Access Control sublayer is used for access to the physical layer, responsible for grouping bits into a frame or pressing frames into 1 and 0 to be handled by the physical layer. Ethernet is a rule of how two or more computers use one medium to exchange information which is other. One of the most widely used technologies for transferring data through media are the technologies. Example, token ring and FDDI. Combination of MIC and layer 1. And then media access control address. MIC is the Ethernet part that functions for addressing. The MIC address consists of 48 bits but is usually written in 12 hexadecimal bits with the provision of 6 bits as the factory code specified by the IEEE and the 6 bits in which it's the serial number of the equipment issued by the manufacturer. Data submission on the data link layer, determining the right data transmission time if a medium is being used. This needs to detect a carrier signal. On the internet, using the carrier sense multiple access or collision detection or GSMA or GD method. On network that can perform simultaneous access. So if host A send data to host B, then host B and C will detect the path. And if the path is being used, host B and C will wait first. And then CSMA or CD method. A host computer that will send data to the network first ensures that the network is not being used for the transfer form and by other computer hosts. If at the checking stage another data transmission is found and a collision occurs, then the computer host is required to repeat the delivery request and at the next interval, which is done randomly. Thus, the arithmetic network can be used interchangeably.